Invictus, my kings, welcome to the Total War Shogun 2 Total Fall of the Samurai mod Prussia playthrough. Yes, and today we will be playing as Prussia in the Total Fall of the Samurai mod for Shogun 2, or Total War Shogun 2, however you want to say it. And yeah, this mod adds a bunch of European nations as well as the United States of America into the into Fall of the Samurai. Which, yeah, basically that's what it does. It adds a bunch of European nations, changes the landscape of the mod a little bit. So there are other various factions, there are other various units, there are a bunch of changes to the audio, there are a bunch of changes to the visuals, there's a bunch of changes to the research. It's essentially a complete overhaul mod, but the main attraction obviously is the fact that there are European nations playable in Total Fall of the Samurai, or Fall of the Samurai more rather. And let's get this guy as general because he looks a little cooler. And it also adds Korea and the Ming, or was it Ming or Qing? The Chinese Empire, which is Qing, I believe at this time. No. And so for the time, if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm essentially just building up an army, and the reason why I'm keeping my main army stationed to the side is because I plan to bait out a rebellion, because the province itself is rebellious. Even though we just started the game, we already have issues with public order. It's just something we're gonna have to deal with. So I'm gonna bait out a rebellion now, to crush them swiftly and to showcase a little bit of the action in the battlefield. And yeah, that's basically it. We're gonna play as Prussia because we haven't really played as Prussia or any of the German nations in this channel yet. We've done Italy, we've done the United States, we've done Portugal, but we haven't done Prussia yet, even though it's one of the well, foremost nations of the 19th century and early 20th century. Well, German empires in the early 20th century, but Prussia is obviously a precursor. Nobleman revolt. There we go, there's a revolt. Yes, my lord. So let's go and let's crush them. In the next turn we are basically out of money. I've recruited as much as I possibly could have. So yeah, this turn, maybe they'll attack me. That'll be actually something. But we see a little bit of a bridge crossing over here, so we'll see if it's a bridge battle or not. That would be mighty annoying if we have to. Oh, they actually decided to attack me. Well, okay then, let's see them on the battlefield. Alright, here we are on the battlefield. As you can see, we can zoom out way to the top, but we don't really need that at the moment. We see we are on a little bit of a hill, so let's just deploy accordingly. We don't have any deployable defenses, unfortunately, but we won't really need it for what we're doing over here. So let's start battle, and let's actually... we defend, yes. We move up a little bit forward just so we have a better shot at the enemy. Let's see what they're bringing. It should be just Katana Kachi and a bunch of the shogunate, units. But let's take a look at our units. Yes, the Prussian, these are colonial infantry. These are the lower tier units essentially. These are the guys you're supposed to start a campaign with, and so we are starting with them. But we also have Marines with the Pickelhaube looking mighty fine. Yes, truly Prussian blue. There's some of the colonial saber cavalry looking pretty neat as well. Yes, all of our units. And let's take a look at the general unit. Yes, looking mighty fine. The sabers look a little wonky, but the sabers in Shogun 2 in general don't look that great. This is our general over here with the Pickelhaube looking very Bismarckian, so to say. And yeah, we have a clear advantage over here. The enemy is attacking, so we should Let's just wait for them, honestly. Let's just wait for them and see what they do. They are the ones who decided to press the attack. There is no bridge in sight, unfortunately. Would have been interesting to fight a bridge battle. But here we have some Yariki, some mounted spear cavalry. And let's see how well they do. Oh, it's a massacre. It's a bloodbath. They're not doing too hot. They're not doing too hot at all. In fact, let's turn on Neil Fire and toggle fire by rank. Actually, ranked fire isn't really gonna do us that good, but Neil Fire is definitely gonna be something that we're gonna make use of. Yes, we're absolutely dismantling them. The Yariki stand no chance, and the infantry that's coming up behind them, it's like some Katana Kachi. Let's see how well they do against our massed infantry. Defensive massed infantry tactics. Go, they. It's a wonderful mod. This one is. It adds a whole bunch of stuff. This would actually be a very cool mod if it also added all the European powers, but unfortunately the map just isn't that big. It adds a whole bunch. It adds Russia, Prussia, Britain, France, the Netherlands, and the United States, I believe, and then it also adds Korea and the Qing Empire. So I think that's just good enough. But it seems like the enemy isn't really is mainly focusing on the center. So let's do some good old school envelopment tactics, and let's see how well they do in melee. They finally arrived at their lines. So let's see how well they do, if they are able to put up a fight or not. They're getting absolutely hammered by rank fire, or not rank fire, Neil Fire. No, I don't think our front guys are they are, no, they aren't kneeling, so I'm not entirely sure what Neil Fire actually does, but here we are, some Yarikachi with, oh, they immediately shattered. They made a singular contact with our colonial infantry, and they decided to rout. An absolute bloodbath this one is. I think we only lost one singular unit, or maybe like 3 here because of the cavalry charge, and 1 here, and because of the enemy infantry. But it is victory. There we go. We lost 4 units. They killed 1, so maybe friendly fire had something to do with it, even though I don't really know what kind of friendly fire that would be. And we absolutely smashed the rebellion. The old shogunate troops really do not stand a chance against us. The story might be a little bit different if we're talking about line infantry and stuff like that. But yeah, the shogunate troops just don't stand a chance against the Prussian might, the Prussian discipline. And here we go. We're gonna make headway, attacking our first enemy, Fukushima, or Aizu, that is. We lost well, we are at war with a bunch of people now, but I think if we just request peace with a bunch of them, that should work out relatively fine. We don't need any sort of major conflicts with them, since peace, never mind. So the Northern Alliance is gonna stand against us. But since we are in the northern part of the map, or the northeastern part of Japan, so to say, the regions or the distances between the individual cities and regions is so huge that we'll see an invasion force coming from miles away, so there's no real need to worry. It'd be different if we were located somewhere around here, where like Tango and Tajima, or for example Echizen and Kaga, where the distances are much shorter, and the enemy could surprise you with a surprise invasion out of nowhere. But here in the north and the northeast, it doesn't really matter. We'll just slowly go one by one, dismantling all the enemy has to offer. And here we go. Fukushima is gonna be ours. Lost 25 men. Peacefully occupied. General increases in rank. Very nice. Let's build some cottage industry. And let's get Well, minus 10% of being assassinated would be nice, definitely, so we don't so we don't end up getting oofed by anyone. But immediately I'm gonna move the garrison or the troops out of the garrison so that we provoke a rebellion again. I'm gonna probably have to go do this one by one with every city where we capture it and then we provoke a rebellion, but that's just how things are gonna go. Here we go, there's a rebellion and it's on the it's to the south of us, so let's just send our units towards the end. See, the movement range in this game is a little bit of an annoying thing. We have such low movement range. It's the same thing in Shogun 2 base game. If you've seen the Portuguese campaign that I recently finished with Shogun 2 Vanilla, well, not quite vanilla, obviously, but Shogun 2 Sengoku Jidai era, then you would know ambush. We're actually managed to ambush them. Very nice. Well, it's just auto-resolve. No reason to witness another bloodbath. That's not necessarily what we are here for. We're here for playing the game. And they're still rebellious, so let's exempt them from taxation. And let's move to the north, and we are gonna march towards Miyagi, the Northern Alliance, which we are at war with. Yes, but if you've seen the Portuguese campaign that I did in Sengoku Jidai Shogun 2, well, base game, modded base game, not Follow the Samurai or Rise of the Samurai, then you know that the movement ranges of the troops or of your armies in Shogun 2 in general is very limited. Yes, it's very limited. The movement ranges in general in this game are a little bit of a pain. You constantly have to fidget with your armies, constantly have to get some sort of way through which your movement range can be increased. Now there's a way to obviously glitch movement ranges in Empire, Napoleon, and the Shogun 2, but we're not necessarily about that life here. We're not really gonna pull off any major glitches at all. We are just gonna play the game regularly, and what comes, that comes. However we manage to win, that's how we manage to win. We're not necessarily... Now, I'm not above exploiting the game a little bit. As you can see, I'm playing a mod which gives you mighty overpowered units. But eventually we're gonna come up against other European powers, and they're gonna have overpowered units, so it's gonna balance out in the end, isn't it? I mean, that's one of the things with this mod, is that yes, you are strong, but the other European powers are strong as well. So just because you have an unfair advantage at the start doesn't mean that it's gonna remain that way towards the end. And what I suspect is gonna happen is that we're gonna see the other European powers blob out as well. And towards the end, we do not need another general. And towards the end, we will essentially be fighting against other European powers in the majority, where so just because we're having a bit of an easy time now doesn't mean that that's always going to be the case. Let's take out these armies and bait out a rebellion again. But yeah, so it might be a bit of a breeze at the moment, but we'll see how things develop towards the end. I think I glitched the game a little bit, because it says here, we had a rebellion in Fukushima, I dealt with that, but it says here that there's a rebellion in Miyagi, and I don't see the rebellion in Miyagi, so I don't quite understand what's happening. Well, anyway, let's go forward. If there's no rebellion, there's no rebellion. Let's just, hopefully they come around to liking us eventually, but for the time being, I don't see any rebellion, so let's just move forward. See, again, it says there's a rebellion at Miyagi, but there's no rebellion, so maybe I glitched the game a little bit. Well, oh well, oh well. Here we go, we besieged the enemy, and now they're selling from their little fortification to attack us. and in the province of Uzan, and they have a bunch of katana samurai, some mounted katana samurai, some mounted katana ronin. And this is actually, the Northern Alliance is one of those affected modded factions, but they have a whole bunch of general units, so let's see how this one goes. Here we are on the battlefield. It's quite cloudy, foggy, it's rainy, while the enemy didn't necessarily pick the best fighting conditions, now did they? We could actually use this hill to our advantage. We could set up on the hill, that would be fine. And let's start the battle, and let's immediately set up on a hill. Set up on the hill. Send our cavalry to the flanks. And our general down the middle. And let's actually set up, since they're over there, let's set up like so. And this flank over here can go like this. Like this, yes, this should work out fine. Some first contact with the enemy. It's their mounted katana samurai getting absolutely devastated by our volley fire, and we have another mounted katana samurai unit. We're gonna absolutely dismantle them. These guys don't need to be so far behind the hill. Let's actually deploy like this. Just so we space out our units a little bit. And here we have some Teppo samurai. Let's see, and they're actually ranged infantry, yet they appear to be just marching forward. Maybe they just don't have a good shot at us. But oh, here we go. Let's form up square formation. Just to counter their cavalry. And then send our own cavalry against them. And you can see we are absolutely devastating them. Very nice. Levy infantry. This is I think this is just base game full of the samurai units. Here's some katana samurai. These are modded units, but they are basically katana samurai from base game vanilla Shogun 2. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. But as you can see, we're making use of our hill advantage to quite a good effect. Oh, some of our marines are actually getting a bit hammered over here by the enemy mounted katana samurai, so let's retreat with them. No need to suffer major casualties if we don't have to. My fault for not putting them in square formation a little earlier. As you can see, the enemy general is dead. Okay, so we killed their enemy general. Very nice. But as you can see, the enemy units, this is a little bit more of a fair fight, since we are facing also modded units. So it's not like it's a complete bloodbath. At least not completely anyway. Some colonial infantry getting hammered, so let's move them to the back. And let's reshape our lines a little bit. They have definitely gone after our flank quite heavily. Let's retreat. So as you can see, it's not a complete overpowered fest as it seemed like in the beginning. The modded units that are countering us are definitely still something to be wary of, and especially melee units can do a lot of damage against ranged infantry if we are not careful about it. But we managed to repel the attack, and I think that should be it. Yep, it is a victory. Okay, so we lost a little under 300, and we wiped out their entire force, and now we can automatically occupy the city. Very nice, very nice. This was a good battle. But I think I'll just continue on and wipe out the entirety of the... Let's see again, mounting on Res Miyagi, yet there's no rebellion, nothing's going on, so I don't know what that's about. But let's... a public space, volunteer infantry, that might be actually something to look forward to, but... let's just build cottage industry. If the if the rebellions are truly broken, then so much the better for me, I guess. Don't need to constantly police these individual provinces, and I can just let them be with their rebellious attitudes. It's not gonna change much. But let's try and bait out a rebellion in Uzan here again. Alright, pro-shogunate uprising in Uzan, and there is no pro-shogunate uprising. Okay, so the game's well and truly glitched. We aren't getting the rebellions we're supposed to get, but you know, I don't mind. We can move forward, I guess, and just keep in mind that these provinces are a little rowdy, but we'll be fine leaving them as they are for now. Yes, definitely. It's a little bonked, not gonna lie, but well, what can you do? If the game isn't working as intended, then let's exploit it a little bit, I say. But anyway, time to move forward towards Iwate, and still can't make it. Oh well. But yeah, some attrition isn't going to kill us. Well, it's gonna kill some people, but not the entire army, that's for sure. And we're gonna take Iwate, and then we're gonna take the last settlement of the Northern Alliance, and that's when we're gonna call it for today, kings. And yeah, mounting unrest Fukushima, mounting unrest, lots of unrest everywhere. But yeah, that's just the nature of the game when you're playing as a colonial force. You're gonna have some unrest here and there, unfortunately. But our general has managed to rank up a little bit. So let's see. Campaign movement range definitely, and yeah, let's get defensive as well a little bit. And Ugo is next on the chopping block, so I'll see you when we get to Ugo. Alright, here we are at the province of Ugo, so let's march in, auto-resolve, and peacefully occupy. Very nice, very neat. And yeah, that's what we're gonna call it for today, kings. We conquered quite a big chunk of the map. It definitely looks quite big on the mini-map over here. As you can see, all these provinces are ours. Prussia. And afterwards, I think we might want to complete our hold over the north. The French are in the north as well here. So they have their own little province. But we might want to go after Hirosaki. They have a very sus symbol over here, so we might want to go after them, capture Aomori, and then swing down to the south because Mito here declared war on us. So we might want to capture them, take them out, and then just slowly and steadily march to the south. As you can see, the United States here is also building a little bit of an empire, and the British should be over here. Yep, the British not as huge when it comes to the imperial domains. We have the Netherlands over here. We have Korea over here. Lots of provinces held by the Koreans and the Russians in the north. And yeah, so we will consolidate our hold over the north over here, and then swing down south against Mito, against a couple of these other province holders, and we will continue our march towards well, we don't have the all-important province of that would make us some sort of shogun or anything like that in this game. But in the faction management, we should control quite a few provinces. But I don't know. Probably we'll get to about here to Yamashiro. Let's say we'll get to Yamashiro, or we'll get to some other city, and then control half the map, and that's what we were gonna call it for this Prussian campaign. Yeah, we're gonna probably control half the map, and that's when we're gonna call it. So yeah, well, anyway, thanks kings for watching, and I'll see you next time.